Hey everybody, welcome back to Arbitrary 20. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Player's Handbook Playtest 8 Unearthed Arcana. For this video specifically, we'll be taking a look at the Monk class.
Yep, the Monk appears for the second time. This one is looking a lot better than the last one. First up, Martial Arts sees the return of Monk weapons, and the Martial Arts die applies to both unarmed strikes and monk weapons, so pretty much how it is in 5e, but a very nice change compared to what we had before. Another change to it that I didn't mention there is you also now get martial weapons that have the light property along with simple melee weapons. So one thing here, I don't know if they intended this, but the hand crossbow is also a martial weapon that has the light property. I don't know if they intended to also put melee weapons here, but you could make a crossbow expert monk and dual wield hand crossbows and use all the features that can use a monk weapon. That's kind of the most interesting thing I saw here.
The gunk is viable.
Yes, yeah, actually that might remove the gunk, but now you can do a hand crossbow, so it's fine.
The bonk.
The bonk.
It's the bonk.
So that's pretty cool, and then obviously this brings back all the old things you could do in 5e, like the quarterstaff. And then they did cut weapon mastery, but you could always just take a feat or a multi-class 1 level in fighter or something to get it. So not a huge deal there. And then the bonus unarmed strike of martial arts is no longer tied to the attack action, so it's like how it is in Baldur's Gate 3. Which is really nice. It's good, especially for like the new Elements Monk, where they can do like the AoE blast as their action. Now they still get to flurry of blows or unarmed strike as a bonus action, or literally anything else with your action. You're not locked into the attack action anymore, which is cool.
I'm super excited about this change. Of the many changes that I'm excited about of this, always just seemed so freaking restrictive.
Yeah.
It was like you have to take the attack action to do this, and it's like, just let me just punch.
Yeah.
Somebody punch freely, So, yeah, this is a really good change. This is something that shouldn't even have to be a change, in my opinion. It should have just been like that from the beginning. But here we are, no time like the present.
Yeah, this is definitely a good change. And then Dexterous Attacks now also allows you to use your Dexterity modifier in place of your Strength modifier when setting the saving throw DC of the Grapple and Push options of your unarmed strikes. So this will make monks a lot better at grappling and pushing, which is really nice. I could even take something like the Grappler feat or something like that. And Grapple and Drag is also a much better option for a monk since your movement is way higher. Weapon Mastery is cut, which we talked about, and then Monk's Discipline, formerly Martial Discipline, formerly Key Points. Options have been redesigned to have options that don't require spending discipline points. So we'll go down to that. They didn't change Flurry of Blows. That's still a discipline point to make 2 unarmed strikes instead of 1, but you don't need to take the attack action before that. So you could even just start your turn with a flurry of blows, which is kind of cool. And then Patient Defense, you can disengage as a bonus action for free, no discipline points. Or you can spend the discipline point to take disengage and dodge. And then for Step of the Wind, you can just take dash as a bonus action, or you can spend a discipline point to take disengage and dash, and your jump distance is doubled for the turn. I think these are all super good changes. Definitely makes the monk feel a lot less clunky, and now a lot more comparable to the rogue, because the rogue could just do that anyway, but now they have a little bit on top of it by spending the resource.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. If rogue could have this at level 2, why in the world could monk not have this at level 2? I like the choice. Choice is fun, as we've talked in our previous videos. I like the choice of where you can do one thing, but if you want to kind of boost it a little bit more, then you can.
Yeah.
So
the options are always good, and it's actually like legit choices too. Like there's situations where you'll actually want to do all, I think 5 of these things total options. Yeah.
It just opens up the monk playbook massively. There's so much it can do now without feeling like you're missing out or using something that could be used better elsewhere at another time. Or
there's no like prerequisites now, like taking the attack action first with a monk weapon or anything
less
like that.
Less restrictions always feels good. Yeah, I feel like a lot of these early features of monk should have just started like that from 2014. I feel like we're finally, like 10 years later almost, we're catching up to where we should have started. But
yeah.
I'm just happy that this is where it is now.
Yep. And then we'll move on to Uncanny Metabolism, which was formerly Heightened Metabolism. Moves to level 2, I believe it was at level 7 before. And now regains discipline points when you roll initiative, and you regain some hit points as well. So yeah, when you roll initiative, you can regain all expended discipline points, and then at that time you also roll a martial arts die and regain hit points equal to your monk level plus the number rolled. So an average of like 6 when you first get this, and then like I think it would go up to like an average of 26 or 27, and then that's a once per long rest. I think before this was just you could basically take a short rest in a minute, right? And get all your key points back, or discipline points, whatever. Yeah, same thing.
We'll probably use. I don't think we're ever gonna stop saying key points. I think it's just so ingrained at this point. Yeah, I liked the level 7 feature, but I like this one better.
This is definitely better, yeah. Because like when the combat starts, you'll probably be able to judge whether you'll need all those discipline points or not, so you can sort of time it a little bit better, I guess. It'll make managing your points a lot easier.
You'll feel less like you have to hold on to those points. Yeah, there's just a lot of...
And the changes to the previous feature should help you save some of them in the first place, too.
Yeah, this is probably like best case scenario, I'd say, for like in terms of discipline points. Because I know we've talked multiple times in other videos about how like probably the best play for key points was to just get rid of them.
Yeah.
But this I think is like a nice compromise.
Yeah,
it
I think so too.
Keeps the class identity. At the same point, it also just doesn't restrict the crap out of you. It's a good feature, and it's placed I think fairly. Level 7 was good placement I think for that feature, but this one definitely like feels very good at level 2.
I'd agree, yeah. And then on to Deflect Attacks, which is formerly Deflect Missiles. Now works against melee attacks, and the damage of the reaction now includes your dexterity modifier. So now you can deflect any melee or ranged attack that deals bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. You reduce it by a d10 plus your dex mod plus your monk level. So actually pretty decent for reducing damage, and then you can spend a key point to either a melee attack if it's in 5 feet, or a ranged attack within 60 feet. You can send it back. They make a dex save or take 2 rolls of your martial arts die plus your dex mod. This feels like actually usable now, I think. Even just reducing damage that much is comparable to Uncanny Dodge.
I'd say so.
I don't know how worth it it's going to be to use the key point to spin it back, but...
I was just about to say that, yeah, like, now this actually feels worth it to use your reaction to try to negate some of that damage.
Yeah.
I mean, before it was like a nice touch. I usually, whenever I use this feature, I would just meme, just because it's like...
Yeah, like, thematically it's really cool, especially now, like, you can take sword strikes or punches against you and just send them at the guy next to you.
But... yeah, I think it's still pretty situational on when you're going to use that discipline point to push that attack away, or like I guess redirect it technically, but
yeah,
this actually feels a lot better now.
And then on to Stunning Strike. Big change here. Now deals force damage if the creature succeeds on the saving throw. So on a failed save, they're stunned, and then if they succeed, they'll take force damage equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. Really nice change there. I still wish Stunning Strike was till the end of your next turn and not the start of your next turn. I think this is still a net nerf compared to the old Stunning Strike, but I mean, more damage is always nice, honestly, because the monk has always struggled with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see something get out of it even when they do succeed the save, because again, it's still a con save, so you're still going to see a lot of times where that Stunning Strike is going to just not go through. I'm happy, so if I remember, they really changed this last time. They butchered it like crazy, and I was just not a fan, if I remember correctly.
And it's still once per turn, too, so most of the nerfs are still there, but they kind of made up for it by letting you do some damage.
I don't know if it's made up enough, but I think people are still a little afraid of this feature on, I guess, the business end of it, but it's not that scary of a feature.
Yeah.
I would say, like, stunned is definitely strong, but, like, it's just not going to happen very often.
Yeah, I think it's nice that it's just a way to do additional damage.
Yeah, I agree. It still doesn't feel, like amazing.
If you crit, you kind of want them to succeed, you know, because then you deal more damage.
Yeah, so, like, you're not losing. And yeah, I mean, when I'm using that feature, I always want the stun condition, because that's just free advantage.
Yeah.
But I mean, shoot, yeah.
You're pretty much always using this on your first attack because it has a chance to either give you advantage for the rest of your turn or deal damage. So, like, it's more damage either way because giving yourself advantage makes you do more damage.
I agree. Still kind of a net nerf improvement.
I think once per turn is fine, especially with it dealing damage now, but I do think it should go back to saying end of your next turn instead of start of your next turn, so you get a little bit more benefit from it.
Yeah, I think that would make it
because
it's
still gonna stick so rarely.
Yeah, and it should be kind of one of those things when it does happen. It feels
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it should feel really good when it hits.
I mean, even if it released like this, I think I'd be okay with that because the extra damage is pretty nice. Yeah, and then on to Heightened Discipline at level 10. This is a new feature that buffs all of your Monk's Discipline features. So Flurry of Blows now lets you do 3 attacks instead of 2, which is really nice. This is definitely what the Monk needed here because at like level 11 around there, they never really got anything. Like there's no extra attack times 3. I mean, the Barbarian got Brutal Critical, but that was also an issue in the Barbarian that neither the Monk or the Barbarian got something that compared to the Fighter's 3 extra attack, and now they kind of both do, which is cool. And then Patient Defense. When you spend a discipline point to use Patient Defense, you also gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die, so boosting your defenses. And then Step of the Wind, when you use the discipline point, you can choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you that is large or smaller. You move the creature with you until the end of your turn. The creature's movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, so that's pretty cool. You can just take someone along with you and move them as well. I think all of those are really nice buffs.
I like this a lot. In my opinion, with the old Monk at 5e, like, it didn't really scale in the main class features like at all. And I feel like especially when you got higher into the class levels, it kind of like loses, it tries to be like jack of all trades. It kind of loses its purpose in a sense. It's just kind of like trying to do, like, fix all these little problems, and it's like just focus on being good at one thing or something like that. And it's just cool to see like these changes scale. I mean, I'm psyched about the 3 unarmed strikes with Flurry Blows. That's awesome.
And like with the fact that you don't have to take the attack action first now, you can just start off your turn with 3 attacks with Flurry of Blows, and then it doesn't even feel that bad to use your action on something else.
Yeah, and there's benefits on the other ones too. I mean, it's just, I can't say enough about how good this feels just to have scalable changes that keep adding more to the Monk's playbook and lets the Monk kind of play a bit more.
Yeah.
You have more options, more things to maneuver with, and it actually feels worth it to go, deep into Monk territory now.
And then the other level 10 feature changed as well. Self-restoration. Through sheer force of will, you can remove one of the following conditions from yourself at the end of your turn. Charm, Frightened, or Poison. And in addition, foregoing food and drink doesn't give you levels of exhaustion. But the first part is the more important one. Before this took an action to remove Charm, Frightened, or Poison. Now you just do it for free at the end of your turn, which is huge. I mean, Frightened is one of the biggest banes of melee characters, and you can just remove it for free at the end of any turn.
Yes.
So it's never going to affect you for more than 1 turn at a time, unless the creature like continuously does it, but still, this is really good.
Yeah, the free action side of things is nice. Just couldn't even imagine doing this as an action.
Well, I mean, with the changes to like the bonus actions, an action doesn't even feel that bad for this, but I mean, no action is still great, yeah.
True. I mean, I guess when I'm speaking in the terms of like the previous version.
Yeah, that was like sacrificing your entire turn to remove this condition. Now you don't lose anything.
I like this a lot better. I don't think it's broken. Definitely
it's definitely not broken.
Definitely strong.
It's a strong defense feature, but yeah,
I like it.
It's fair.
It's fair. I mean, Charmed, Frightened, and Poison, they're pretty common.
Yeah.
But there's still other things that you could get hit with that you're just, it's not like blinded you could remove, or like stunned or whatever. You can just remove that.
Well, all these are pretty devastating. Yeah. Like if you get dominated and you can, this still has the issue where like, depending on how the DM rules it, like if they're really in control of you, they might not let you end the charm condition. But in the current game, I see that get ruled either way. But Frightened and Poisoned is still really good.
Oh yeah.
All of these are devastating if they happen, and you can just get rid of it for free. So.
And Dominate Person is pretty. I mean, that's a pretty situational.
It is pretty rare. Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to show up too often, but that is definitely a thing to bring up. That's fair.
Yeah, but Frightened and Poisoned are the main ones that are going to come up, and that's huge to be able to get rid of those.
Definitely.
And then Deflect Energy now works against melee attacks as well, just like Deflect attacks. So at level 13, any damage type, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage and potentially deflect the attack. Again, pretty decent for reducing damage, but pretty rare that you'll want to throw the attack back. But again, thematically just super cool, being able to throw back fire or like Eldritch Blast. And then Superior Defense can now be activated at the start of your turn instead of using an action or bonus action. So now at the start of your turn you can spend 3 discipline points to perfectly bolster yourself against harm for a minute or until you're incapacitated. During that time you have resistance to all damage except force damage. So pretty good. I think in 5e this also makes you invisible. So I mean, some kind of offensive bonus would be nice. It is level 18, but resistance to all damage is still pretty good. And then Perfect Discipline, formerly Perfect Self, now gives you expended discipline points if you have 3 or less. So when you roll initiative and have 3 discipline points or fewer, you regain discipline points until you have 4. I still think this is just super weird. Like, why can't it just be you've regained 3 discipline points or you regain 4 discipline points? This whole like when you're out thing, or like when you have a small amount, like if you have 5 discipline points and you go into a combat, it's just gonna feel terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember reading this feature earlier today. Like, I kept reading it over, and it's just like it's just so weird. It doesn't make any sense.
What is the difference between having 1 and going up to 4, or having 5 and going up to 8? Like, at the end of the day, the DM decides like when initiative needs to happen.
Yeah.
So like, it's still difficult to cheese this and just get your discipline points back. But even if it's level 15, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, your level 2 feature, granted it's once per long rest, but I mean, your level 2 feature just gives you all of them, and then at 15 we're going to sit here and nitpick and like, if you have this, then you know, you can have that much in return.
And yeah, it actually conflicts with the level 2 feature as well, because they both trigger when you roll initiative. So if you have almost none, you have to decide between getting the 3 free ones from this or getting all of them back from that one.
It's just so restricted for no reason, bro. This is
I think it should just be like gain 3 back or gain 4 back. No, like period.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like they freed up a lot of monk in the early levels, and then they just can't let go on this feature. Like, they have to like restrict it, and it's like, bro,
or maybe
free
like
monk, let it go.
Or maybe like if you are worried about that being cheesed and you just gain all your discipline points back, maybe just like increase the maximum discipline points by 5 or 10 or something like that, or like half your monk level or something like that.
That might not be bad.
Because then, like, you're still gaining more throughout the day, but there's no chance of cheesing it.
I mean, you could even do something like some sort of like meditation practice where it like that sense, and like, I don't know, maybe exchange something. I don't know.
That's pretty much what the metabolism one used to be. But
yeah, I don't know. I just think it's dumb the way that it's worded. It needs to be like less restrictive and just let us play at level 15. Yeah. Because I mean, at this level, most full spellcasters are accessing 8th level spell slots. Yeah. They're already like changing.
You're struggling to get 3 discipline.
Yeah, right. This is the same issue we talked about the last time we talked about monk, where like spellcasters, they get to like, you know, change time and stuff, and you're just struggling to exist. Like, bro, just make it easier on yourself.
This one needs work for sure. But
that was the only feature that I'm like kind of on. Everything else is like
everything else got way better.
Pretty good.
Yeah, speaking of way better, lastly they get a new capstone, Body and Mind. It's basically the exact same as the Barbarian capstone, except it's for Dexterity and Wisdom +4, and then the max is 26. So you can get Dexterity or Wisdom to 26, and then the other to 24, assuming you had 20s before.
Pretty high AC if you do
it's
like
crazy,
defense.
So it'd be +15, so you'd have a 25 AC,
That's what we want.
Yeah. And then if you have like Bracers of Defense or something, you'd be chilling with the 27.
You're just not touched.
Yeah.
Well, rarely. I mean, there is still things that, you know, have a +15.
What it should be though, like unarmored defense used to be, well, like, still is not great early on, but if you're playing a level 20 monk, it could potentially be pretty good.
This should feel like borderline God.
Yeah.
That feels nice. I mean, there's so many other features too. I mean, if your wisdom gets that high, the save for Stunning Strike and things, I think, improve.
That's also true.
So,
it boosts all of your other features that are based on
I think
wisdom.
you're looking around a DC 20. So, to be honest, I guess now that we bring that up.
Maybe DC 9. Wait, no. Because if you had the full +7 to your wisdom and then +6 proficiency bonus, yeah, that'd be a DC 21 Stunning Strike. Yeah. At level 20,
con saves are still there, but I mean,
you at least
got
have
bigger
a chance
chances.
at that point.
Yeah, like at least you can still play. You might see that failed save for a stun condition actually come up a lot more often, which is cool. Something to look forward to, something to build towards.
Yep.
Overall, like really, really, really happy with the changes so far. Could have a little more tweaks, but like so far, like
significantly better
so
than
much better.
5e, and then way better than the last playtest one we had.
I'm gonna block that last playtest from my memory, dude. That's just not gonna exist anymore in my
bad.
brain.
And then we'll move on to the subclass, Warrior of the Hand. Open hand technique. They swapped Addle back to not taking a saving throw, so you can just make it so they don't have opportunity attacks. And this feature got way indirectly buffed by the change to Flurry of Blows, because before this feature was way worse because you had to take the attack action and then do Flurry of Blows, and then you could only use these by the end of your turn. But now you can start off with a Flurry of Blows and you can topple them to make them prone, and then all the rest of your attacks have advantage. So you can potentially on the first hit try to make them go prone with a dex save or become stunned with a con save. And then if they fail either one of those, you get advantage for the rest of your turn, which is kind of cool, honestly. Like, just that change to Flurry of Blows alone makes this subclass way better. And then, or you still have the option to push or remove their opportunity attacks.
All of which are still really good. I mean,
yeah,
getting that at the beginning of the round.
The things it can do aren't bad. It was the fact that you couldn't do them until the end of your turn.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Shield Master kind of issue with that feed, where it's just like...
Yeah, knocking them prone at the end. Versus if you're doing it on the first attack, it's big difference.
Oh yeah, huge difference. If you can actually get them prone...
with this and Stunning Strike, you get 2 chances. And that's pretty expensive, two key points, but... Yeah, still though.
Worth.
On to Wholeness of Body. Now allows you to regain hit points without expending discipline points. Probably how it should have been before. So as a bonus action, you can roll your martial arts die, regain a number of hit points equal to the number rolled plus your wisdom, and then you can use the feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. So pretty much a second wind almost, which isn't bad. Much better than any of the previous versions that were using discipline points. And then Fleet Step now allows you to take a Step of the Wind alongside other bonus actions. So when you use a bonus action other than Step of the Wind, you can also use Step of the Wind as part of that bonus action. And it doesn't say you have to spend the key point or anything, so any bonus action you do, you can also just dash on top. Pretty sick. That's just like an extra... 45 feet of movement at this level, just every turn?
I think so, yeah. So you're Flurry of Blows and you can run away. Or run to them and then Flurry of Blows.
Yeah.
That's more likely what's going to happen.
Well, you actually never have to spend, you still could, but you pretty much never have to spend key points for Step of the Wind again, because you could just do the free version of Patient Defense. You could disengage as a bonus action, and then you can also Step of the Wind to get dash as a bonus action. The only thing you don't get is the double jump distance. Mm-hmm. But you can disengage and dash for free. Pretty cool, honestly.
Seems like a win no matter what way you slice it. This is a really cool subclass that they've modified it into.
Yeah.
Way back
all the changes to the base class indirectly buffed this one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is how monks should feel.
And then Quivering Palm now allows you the option to replace one of your attacks with the action to end vibrations on the creature. To compensate for this increased flexibility, the cost and damage of the feature has been adjusted. So it now costs 4 discipline points when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike. You can cause the vibrations, and then you can replace one of your attacks instead of spending an entire action to end it. So you can actually complete Quivering Palm on one turn now. You can do a bonus action attack, start the vibrations, take the attack action, replace one of the attacks with the action to end the vibration. But they reduce the damage to 10d12. It was 10d12 plus your monk level before, and I mean,
just 10d12.
in 5e it was just instant death if they failed the saving throw, and then they took the damage if they succeeded. It's a 17th level feature. I think that would still be fine, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair.
4 discipline points is pretty expensive, but that's a nice combo to... I mean, it costs 5 discipline points, but you could flurry of blows for 3 attacks, and then start the vibrations and then end them, and for 1 attack, 10d12 is a lot of damage.
On top of all your other
Everything
stuff you're
else
doing,
you
so
already did, yeah.
you could do quite a substantial Nova round with this.
Potentially, yeah. I think the damage could still be higher, honestly. I don't think they needed to do that.
It also kind of feels a little rough because it's a con save.
Because, like, it was instant death in 5e, yet... like, never have seen a 17th level open hand. It's still just not good enough. Or the rest of Monk isn't good enough to get to that, right? Yeah.
I think this has... the rest of Monk, I think, makes it worth it to get to this feature.
It's still pretty good.
I think the feature's still worth using. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that con save. That's a little rough. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're gonna... at this point, you should... if you're boosting your dex and wisdom, you should be able to get your save high enough that you could actually get that to go off pretty often. I mean, not pretty often, but, you know, enough that it feels worth it to do.
It just depends on what you're going against, but yeah, I still think one of the older versions in terms of damage is a little bit better, but...
I think the instant death seems cool. Like, that's very on par. That's very
thematic.
That's
definitely the fantasy for a feature like this. Yeah, like, it's good. It's worth using, but I think it could be better, for sure. For a 17th level feature. Like, this should compete with 9th level spells, right? Like,
well, I mean, at this point, that's what you're getting. Yeah. There is, I believe, power word kill at 9th level.
Yeah, so it doesn't even feel like crazy to have instant death. But, I mean, infinite uses of instant death? Well, it's not infinite uses, I guess, but...
I mean, it's...
yeah, it's like almost there, but could be better. Looks like that's it for the monk. Some pretty cool changes there. If you'd like to check out our last video where we talked about the druid, you can check that out right here. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.